August and the fall, the rest of August, and what we'll have in this fall. And fingers crossed this new COVID thing doesn't shut everything down again, but we will see. Time will tell. But anyways, out here again, pulling the lures. Got them out there doing their thing, doing their dance, trying to catch a sword-faced fish. One of them Marlin. So let's see what we can do. Let them go. We'll release them. Little one on the Kona 9 Plus. Questions and answers that you guys are asking, things in my messages, and I was going to respond to each episode, kind of go over a little topic. Didn't get to it last episode, but I wanted to touch on something here, this one. So we're going to talk a little bit about hook rigs, right? Getting a lot of questions about that. What hook rigs do we like to use? And again, like I've said in a lot of these statements, I'm just telling you my personal preference and what works for me. What might be working for somebody else could be something completely different. So you got to take all this information and all these tips and advice with a grain of salt. So in regards to hook rigs, I like to use a single hook rig. I don't like to use a double hook rig. The reasoning behind me not wanting to use a double hook rig is I feel like a lot of times what happens on your double hook rig is you're getting the bill on that first hook, and you'll get a lot of times that like, and it just comes right off. If he's coming in and he's billing the head before he eats it, and I think that a lot of times what you're doing is you're getting that bill, and then that back hook, even though it seems in theory that it should just be swinging and snagging them, doesn't really drive and penetrate because all the force is being held on the bill. you know, there's a certain bite. Obviously, if they come up behind it like this, yeah, you could button one pretty good with a double hook rig sometimes. So they do work for some people, but in how I look at it, and in, you know, all the marlin fishing I've done, I've not had any success with the double hook rigs. I've done way better with a single hook rig. So I like to use a single hook, and I like to put it as far back in the skirt as IGFA legal. So IGFA says right that the eye of the hook has to be in the skirt strands. So I like to have it just that far back, like, you know, almost illegal, you know, pretty far back, which you think, well, the fish might be able to see it. They don't know what a hook is, and if your lure's running right, I don't think it's really going to matter. I think the action is going to trump that. They're not going to really see the hook and get shy, you know. And now I also have to press in that we're talking about blue marlin here. Tuna, I would do a different hook rig. All right, you know, if you're looking for ahis and stuff, they're usually eating up closer to the head. You want to have that hook really close to the head, but if we're talking blue marlin, I want that hook super far back. I like using a single hook. I really like the Tantrum X hooks. I think they're the best stuff out there right now, the Fudo ones. Fudo also does make some other really good hooks, but for me, the Tantrums have been great. I like the 10-0s and the 11-0s, pretty much running almost 10-0s solely on everything. I feel like it's a super strong hook, and I just feel like it's really sharp and it drives really good. So I like using that. I make all my hook rigs stiff with a heat shrink. I use a special heat shrink that is really tight, how it binds down, and it's really smooth. I don't like that real gummy, fat stuff. I don't want my hook rig to be all fat and bulky. I want it to be smooth and super smooth transition. So basically, if I grab it with my hand, I should be able to just run it all the way to the hook and not have any type of snag in there at all. It should just be very smooth. And I like this heat shrink because it becomes super slippery. It almost feels like a glass, the way that this shrink binds around, and on your crimps and everything, it pulls it in super tight, makes the transition just like perfect through the mouth. So I really like that. The other thing about that heat shrink is it will break, it won't bend, eventually it will break. So if you're fighting a fish for a super long time, it'll break by the hook, and then your hook will be able to pivot and move. That's what I'm using on my bullets and my long riggers. On my shorts, on my corners, I have a hook rig that I've designed that's still kind of in the prototype phase. I'm still working on it, and I will make it available to people once I've really worked it out and I'm confident in it and I have everything dialed in. But the basic theory of it is a hook rig that stays extremely stiff, and then at a certain time will then become free and allow a little bit more movement and less pulled hooks. Yeah, it's something I've had success with, but it's definitely has some tweaks here and there I got to work on, and I really want to put the time in and pull some numbers in a notebook before I really make before I make it available or put it out there or do anything with it, whether I even do anything with it. But that's what I like to use. I like to use those single hooks. I like to have them far back in the skirt, keep them super sharp. Seems to be working right now, at least. I'll let you know if we change anything up, but try it out. Tight lines, keep your hook sharp, and don't stress. You're gonna lose fish. That's how it goes. Marlin fishing with lures, you're gonna lose fish. It's just how it is. There's no one's catching it 100%. So yeah, just get out there, do what you gotta do, and catch them. I hope that helps. Hopefully we can go catch another one here right now. All right.
I've been on the road, I've been doing shows. Now we eating steak, remember sleeping on the floor. We stealing at the gas station when the time was cold. In the kitchen, hot, still trying to flip it out the stove. Rocking fake J's, praying that nobody know. Watch them take my dog away, it was way too hard to stay composed. Fight to see the light of day, all this blood on my clothes. I was tired every day, green light, it's time to go. I don't wanna live life fast or die too young. Die too young. 100 miles per hour, might crash cause the good die young. Yeah, the good die young. Push it to the limit, I can't go no more. Red light, no way, I'm coming back home. Long dirt road, all on my own. I'ma be the greatest, write my name in the stone. Write my name in the stone. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Yeah, I'm coming back home. Write my name in the stone. Cause I'm coming back home. Cause I'm coming back home. Right back where I left because I know my people needed me. Diamond in the rough, I don't know what it is they see in me. Go down as a legend in my city cause we beat the streets. Trying to spread the wealth around the block, no I can't keep from me. Told me I should leave.
What's up, guys?
I see the bigger picture and it's way bigger than me. Can't believe it like a kid.
Just jumped on off here. Had it on for a second or a couple seconds, 4 or 5 seconds, came off. You know, we missed 2 yesterday. We're now 0 for 1. It's like about 8:30 in the morning. So it's, you know, it's easy to let that stuff get to you, and like you get in a freaking like a funky mood and get angry, start changing things or messing with your drag or whatever. But I just feel like it's important to just stay with your system that works and just take it on the chin. Like, you know, if we end up, if you keep missing fish and the number starts to really soar, something's going on, right? But a couple here, a couple there, is just sometimes it's just how it is, how they're feeding, and you might just be going through a streak, you know, and it'll change, and you'll go through a streak where you catch them all, and you think you're the best fisherman ever, and then you'll go through a streak where you can't catch any of them, and you think you're terrible. So I think it's important when it's like that, just like stick with your guns. You know what works, right? You know, I think it's easy to just start going down that rabbit hole of starting to change everything around and messing with the drags and doing this, doing that. You know, make minor adjustments if they're feeding a certain way, right? You know, but going and changing everything up, you're just kind of you're chasing the rabbit hole there. So we're gonna stick with what we do, what seems to work, and we're gonna stick the next one and stay positive. That's how it is. You're gonna miss fish. Blue marlin fishing with lures. If you don't want to miss fish and lose fish, then don't pull lures. You know, but don't put hooks in them. So, you know, it's what it is. Anyways, just gonna stick with our guns. We're gonna find one here soon. It's gonna be the one that matters. It's gonna be a big one. It's gonna stick. We're gonna catch it. Everything will be good, and we'll forget that we missed 3 fish. That's how it goes. Blue marlin fishing. Alright, we got one on here. Pounding the zone pretty much most of the day. Finally got one to come in and eat. Yeah, see what we can do. this thing around, and there's a little one with it, like a 100-pounder with it. And started getting close. She was kind of just cruising, like she wasn't even concerned. And then she realized something was wrong and took off and just went nuts. So, let's see if we can get her. It's a nice fish. That was pretty rad though. That was really cool. The little one was all lit up, swimming around it while we were on it, on the leader. Pretty rad. Basically just changing the angles and stuff, trying to confuse the fish, get it out of its habit.
Got it.
Once they get in a habit like that, they know which way to pull and they just do it. And sometimes they just kick your ass regardless. She's pissed. That's alright, we want this thing to get pissed and start coming back up. Discouraged. You know, we missed one early in the day, and we just tried to stay positive and just called an 800 right there. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna head in now. We'll pull everything in and head in. It's like 3 o'clock. He's pooped, and on it tomorrow. All right, Kona.
Yardman thing, can this a yardman thing? 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 Yard man thing, can this a yard man thing. Yard man thing, can this a yard man thing. Yard man thing, can this a yard man thing. Yard man thing, can this a yard